Hello, I love discounts. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome to the morning mix. My name's Tracy. This is Always Treasures. As always, Noelle is behind the scenes, running the cameras, doing our graphics, all that cool stuff. Hello, Mama's Couch. How are you? Good morning, Burlap Barn. So today we're just chatting. I got a few items to sell. Good morning, Monster Mama. So there's a few things in the bin. So we'll go through and do the auction items as we talk this morning. If you guys have any questions, this is kind of somewhat seller support. I'll answer questions. It keeps it interesting, or just thoughts that you want to discuss this morning. If there's anything on your mind, you want to hear other people's opinions, not just mine, but mine in the chat. Throw it in there. Thank you, Kimmy D. Good morning. Yes. So those of you, hello, Kelly. Did not see we had our very first podcast last night. It was the reselling roundtable with myself, I Love Discounts, and Green 13. Just a second, Southern Charm, I'll tell you. And it went so good. I was so happy with the outcome. It was the first one, so I'm sure it's only going to get better from there. There's always room for improvement in anything we do. But I loved the interaction last night. I loved kind of the debates going on while we're all sellers. Hello, Kate. While we're all sellers, we all have different ways that we sell and different opinions on various features on Whatnot and some of the other platforms that we can't really discuss a whole lot here, but on our podcast, we can talk about everything. So that was really fun. Cannot wait. Thank you, Southern Charm. I cannot wait until next week and we do it again. So I think this is going to be a really cool collaboration and something fun. It is. So Extending Grace, for those of you who don't know, our podcast is on YouTube every Sunday night at 6:30 p.m. It is the Reselling Roundtable, Eastern Standard Time, for just to clarify, and we'll put it up there. Noah will throw it on the screen so you can see. You can go and subscribe so you'll get notified. And it is a live. Thank you, I Love Discounts, for putting that in there. It is a live chat, so you can attend and ask questions just like you can on a Whatnot chat show. It's just that it's on YouTube, and which allows us, one, to have a platform that we can collaborate on, but also one that we can discuss openly any of the various selling platforms and just all things reselling, not just focused on Whatnot. We all three of us still have our own chat shows on Whatnot, like this morning and my Friday show, where we can talk about basic Whatnot stuff. There it is right there. If you missed last night, it's there. It's on YouTube, so you can always go back and see last night's if that's something. It is also, we are streaming to Spotify.
And don't miss the next episode next Sunday. And yes, we're on Spotify and Amazon Music if you want to take us with you on audio.
There you go. So those of you who have a commute, now you have listening material in the mornings. So snow, we got about 2 feet maybe. You saw it in the music? Awesome. So we got about 2 feet yesterday, I'm guessing. I don't know the exact measurement. I'm just judging by, when I look out my window. Yeah, there's a lot of snow. But okay, all right. Let's talk snow and then I'll sell something. Let's get a giveaway going. Giveaways. Let's see. Giveaways are 2 postcards, our motivational card, and one of our rewards cards. And real quick, speaking of our rewards cards, today is 5 and 6. If you have 5 and 6, you put those codes together in that order. It is worth $5 off anything that you may want to buy today. All right, snow. Y'all, my neighbors, I just have to say, my neighbors are like massive overachievers. 2 feet, yes. These people, okay, look, first of all, it snowed for like 24 hours straight. It did not stop. It was a continual coming down like hard snow. They're out there at 8 o'clock yesterday morning shoveling their driveways. Well, okay, they have snow blowers, but it's still snowing. I know this is only my 3rd winter living in snow, only the 3rd year, but isn't shoveling your walk while it's snowing kind of like making your bed while you're sleeping in it? I was not comprehending that logic whatsoever, because by the end of the day, their driveways were completely covered with snow again. I just wasn't seeing it. Now, I take a completely different route. I don't believe in shoveling my driveway. My husband's done it before. I've shoveled just enough to make sure the Amazon deliverer could save Amazon guy can safely get to my porch to leave my packages. But other than that, I have a 4-wheel drive truck. We just drive over the snow. It will warm up. It will go away eventually. And not if you want to keep up with the load. Is that why they do it? I just don't get it. I am not about, look, there is 2 things in life that I absolutely hate. Cold and wet. You put those 2 things together, you got snow. No go for me. I ain't getting out there for a couple of hours shoveling snow. Just not happening. Now, when the neighborhood kid comes by, I'll pay him $20 to do it. I'm not going to do it. There we go. See, Kelly's place, same thing. It's just not, I don't know. It's beautiful to look at, and I actually don't mind living in it. I'm not going. I didn't leave the house yesterday. I have no intention of leaving the house today. I will finish up all of my packing and go to the post office tomorrow. Maybe it gets too heavy if they don't do it in segments. Maybe, I'm not sure, because there was only 2 of my overachieving neighbors out there. The rest of my neighbors were like just chilling in their house. They were like me. They were like, yeah, we're going to sit with our coffee and watch this pretty scene. Do I have to put pants on for my show? I always suggest pants for the men and bras for the women. That is my professional whatnot advice right there. So what is it? Let's see. Extending Grace says, husband does, we're old, we can't do the heavy stuff. Our neighbor plow. Oh, well, that's nice to have a neighbor. See, now here's the thing too. We're looking at a house. I don't know if we're going to move there or not. We're looking at a house and there's a big old winding driveway. And the house is big enough to move the business into, so I'm kind of excited about it if we end up going that route. But I'm kind of worried now that I see the snow and I'm thinking, oh, what will we do with this big old long winding driveway? Like not a normal driveway, like it's long, like, I don't know, 300-400 yards. Yeah, I'll get a gator with the plow. That's right. We need a plow. I just need to put it on the front of my truck and then I can just drive out of my driveway, push it all to the side, and I'd be good. So, oh, I don't know. All right, let's see. Let's sell something really quick. We got a couple of pre-bids, so we're going to sell something. We're going to go back and forth. We'll chit chat. I got a couple of things to talk about. Let's go with this first item. This is a little funky, y'all. But you know what? It's the morning mix show, so we can have funky on the morning mix. These are vintage toys. They are all little cows. How stinking cute are these little cows? Let's see. Are you going to show them the other side, honey? I'll move my coffee so you don't get on me. We'll show some cows over here. You're going to get all of these cows. We already have a pre-bid. It's a whole family of cows. Now, they're plastic, and they have some paint wear, but they're vintage. They're old cows. They remind me of the dairy farm that's right behind my house. There you go, 6 cows. We're going to run those guys right now. 10 seconds. Dollar start. They are going now. Shalom's in on that. She wants some cows. So I don't know what you would do with these cows. I should let my husband sell them. He's so honest. He would be like, these are ugly cows. Shalom, thank you so much. Those are heading to you.
Thank you.
All right.
Congratulations.
And Kelly, you got the giveaway. I missed it. I turned around right when the giveaway ran. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, Ms. JJ.
Good morning, JJ. How is everybody today? All right, so we talked about snow. We talked about our podcast. What else are we talking about? The bird theory. Hello. I've got a bunch of upcoming shows this week. You guys want to hear about our upcoming shows? Like, I've got a lot going on this week. I looked and I had like 8 shows in 1 week. Why do I do this to myself? I do not know why I decide to do so many shows in a week. But we have, obviously right now. Tomorrow, we have the big Kahuna's Raid Train. You guys, I'm super excited about this one. This is a good one. I don't want to go out and shovel. Yeah, me neither, Robin. How many shows should you do in a week? All right, let's talk about how many shows, and we'll talk about the big Kahunas. I think you should have, this is just my belief, and this is how I do it, except for this. The last week of the month is always crazy for me. But I think you should have a predetermined amount of shows that works for you and your business strategy. So whatever your goals are, a couple weeks ago, I broke down if you want to make X number of dollars and you look at how many items you sell, what's their average selling price, and you can kind of back into the number of shows and the number of items you need to sell to make the amount of money you want to make each month on Whatnot. So I would suggest doing that if you actually have a specific goal. If not, at a minimum, you should have one anchor show a week. You're not ready for the big, yes, JJ Shopper, you should get on that. Get on that because we're about to talk about this and people may want to go and vote for you. At the minimum, I think you should have one anchor show a week. Minimum. That is a show that is on a set day and time that people know where you are, know where to find you, and will always come back to you. That's at a minimum. And then from there, it goes on your goals. It goes on how much money you want to make. What are you trying to do with your business? That's my advice. How does Whatnot handle delayed shipping because of weather? So Whatnot did send out emails just kind of saying that, hey, things may be delayed. They also took off some of our restrictions on the 2-day shipping. So we're not dinged if it's 3 or 4 day because of the snow.
And they put a banner on the app stating that there might be some delays due to the weather.
Yes. So when they get storms like this, they are responsive and they do lift restrictions as far as like how fast we need to ship. And they do let people know that it may take a few extra days. So if you are buyers, give all of your sellers just a little bit of grace, particularly now that they have to drive to get to the post office. And for the post office people themselves, give them some grace because, you know, they're out there trying to drive in these dangerous situations. Yep, and JJ Shopper says, if you check your purchases, it also tells you. All right, you guys, Big Kahunas, let's talk about this. Big Kahunas Raid Train, there it is. If you go to, I am partnering with CG Boomerang Echo, which I'm super excited about. If you go to her website, which is boomerangecho.com, there it is on our screen. You can, on the left-hand side, you'll see Big Kahuna's Raid Train. You click on it. Once you click on it, right there, it will bring you to the Big Kahuna's Raid Train competition. There's the thumbnail that you'll see on Whatnot. And right, keep going, right there. There is a banner in the middle that says pick the winner. So we have a bunch of cool sellers. We're going to tell you who they are. We have JJ Shopper, who's here in the chat this morning, TBC Productions, Mama's Toy Box, Brady's Collectibles, keep scrolling, Brady's Collectibles, Cassandra 0328, The Perfect Price, I Love Freeze Dried, and Spiritual Supply Code. These are the people competing in the first ever Big Kahuna's Raid Train to see who the Big Kahuna is. Now on this website, if you are not a seller, as a seller or just as a buyer, either one, not just as a buyer or seller, you can go to CG's website and you can pick who you think is going to win. If you pick the right winner, you will be invited to a special VIP party after the show that's just like a giveaway VIP show, but you have to pick the right winner. So y'all should go over there and figure, I'm sorry, my love, are you trying to tell me something? Okay. He does hand motions and I'm like, what are you saying? So you can go over there and pick the right winner and see if you can get invited to the after party, the VIP special party. The other side of this is if you are a seller and you raid into any of these sellers during their show, we're keeping track. Southern Charm is going to be modding. There she is right there. And we're going to keep track on everybody that raids in. If you raid in with 10 or more people, you're automatically entered or get invited to the VIP party also. So there's a couple of ways to get in. So go and vote and raid into these people. Now, how do they win? We have, who's going to be the Big Kahuna? Like, so this isn't just like, oh, I won, I sold the most this time. No, they're going to be a reigning champion. They have to come back month after month to defend their title. So once you win, you have to keep it up. You got to come back next month and win again. We want to see who's going to have like the longest stretch of being the reigning Whatnot Big Kahuna, right? They're going to get a point for every dollar sold is a point. So $1, 1 point. They get a point for every item sold. That evens the playing field because they can sell one big, huge, $1,000 item, or they can sell a whole bunch of little items. They've got to come up with the strategy, right? And they also get points when they get rated. So help your favorite seller out, vote for them, and come on in and rate them. So that's the Big Kahunas. Tomorrow, I'm going to kick off the show. We're going to go see all these great sellers, and then CG Boomerang Echo will be ending the show. Good morning, the Teacup Trap. How are you?
Let's go, Miss JJ. Let's go.
It's going to be a fun one, you guys. I really think it is. I mean, wouldn't you want to be the Big Kahuna? And we have some hard restrictions to get in. You had to have 20,000 sales, 15,000 followers, have a good rating, have good shipping. Start looking around. There's just like a few who actually meet all of those requirements. So this is like the cream of the crop here. So it really is a good competition. That is tomorrow night. Wednesday, y'all, I don't know what I did to myself Wednesday. I do have a raid train. It is Come Fall in Love raid train. I'm really excited about this one. It is put on, let's see, I got to open it up. It is put on by Shalom, y'all, who's probably in the chat. I thought I saw your name earlier, and Grammy 55502. Come Fall in Love raid train. If you like that old, sweet love, Victorian, just romance, this is the train for you. I'm going to be on at 3 p.m. Eastern. My shop is already loaded, so that is in there. Good morning, Aaron. So we've got some stuff that's an hour spot raid train. Got some really cool things. If you like hat pins, I've loaded up with a bunch of hat pins for that show, along with some other stuff. I have vintage and antique Valentines that are in there, so go check that out. And then that night is the new Seller Surge raid train. This is the one I put on once a month. So Wednesday night, we're going to have 6 brand new sellers. Don't miss that. I don't have their names in front of me, but if you are in here and you're on Wednesday's new Seller Surge, tag yourself, put yourself in there so we can see you. And then we're back Friday for my talk show. And then Saturday is the Glow Show. I am going to, like the last week of the month, I do not know why I think, let's just put everything into the last week of the month. But I do this to myself every single month. But that's where we're at. All right. I just feel like I talked a whole lot. I need to breathe. Random question. What do you do for yourself to lessen the overwhelmingness while working full-time, but also continuing to grow the business? Kimmy D, that's a great question. That is like the ultimate like work-life balance type question. I use a blocking system of time. So I'm very much into surprise, surprise, type A personality, very much into schedules and lists. I know everybody is surprised that I make lists and schedules, right? But I do. And that's kind of what keeps me going. Everything is scheduled out. So 9 to 5, 9:30 to 5:30 is my work day. I really don't interfere with that. That's a nice, easy block of time. 9:30 to 5:30, I have to focus on my 9 to 5. That's what pays my mortgage. I can't mess with that. So that means I need to figure out when to do what not and do all the other things in life around those hours. No different than anybody else. I mean, it's the same situation. I'm not unique in any way. So you love lists and schedules, birthday? Me too. So I schedule it out. I get up early in the morning. I have a time. I'm very ritual based. I eat the same thing for breakfast every day. I pretty much have 3 or 4 foods I eat on repeat. But I'll get up, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I get ready, or I work out, get ready, or I do a show, I pack, I go to work. And I block out that time. If you look at my calendar, it'll say, unless I'm doing a show, 6 to 7:30 every morning is packing or doing whatnot stuff, whether it's preparing shows, doing thumbnails, some type of social media, packing, doing something for whatnot every morning.
Kimmy, she puts me to work.
I put him to work. But it's all about time blocking. And then in the evening, I don't watch a lot of TV and I don't sit still. I know myself that the minute I sit on my couch with my phone and I go like this, I'm done. I just don't allow that for myself. So in the evening, if my daughter she's a competitive cheerleader, so we have a lot of times at gyms, I drop her off and I use those 2 hours, whether I'm sitting in the car with my laptop, whether I'm going out sourcing somewhere, or I come home and I pack. So it's scheduling out your day. I also, though, schedule downtime. 8:30, 9 o'clock, I'm done. I know that my brain stops working at around those hours. And that's when I go and do kind of like easier, mindless, work on my computer from my bed. But that's about it. It's time blocking. It's the only way I get through the day. I'm trying to read comments, catching up. Yep. So time blocking works for you. And I'm very old school. I do have my 9 to 5 because I work with other people. It's on my phone, but I have a physical planner. I actually bought it off of the internet. I love this planner. It's called Yes, My Love. It's called the Big Ass Planner, but it's a big old planner. I love it. It allows me to block to do all the stuff that I need to do. All right. Okay. Oh, you know what I forgot to say? What I wanted to mention is, if you are on YouTube, we are noticing more and more people watching on YouTube. Hello, welcome. If you click on this over here, this little QR code, you can come on over to Whatnot and join our chat. You can also ask questions on YouTube if you're one of the people that are watching. You saw that on TikTok, that calendar? I love it. It works great. Robin, but what if you work into the night and sleep during the day? Because that's me, the only weekends and Mondays. Robin, I still think it works. Even if you work at night, it's just a different time frame. We still all have the same 24 hours in a day. It's how you're going to make use of those 24 hours. And I know I have seen the things like, oh, well, if you have little kids, you don't have the same 24 hours. We do. They just have to be organized differently.
Robin, I used to do that, and that's very, very, very difficult, especially when you have your days off and you wake up and like half a day is already gone. So it's managing the your time too, but it's very difficult.
Yeah, it's just looking at your schedule and blocking out the time. Start with the big things. Your big things are probably if you work 9 to 5 or have a full-time job. That's a big thing. And your sleep is a big thing, right? So those two things automatically, you know what times those are, schedule it out. And then look at the rest of the available hours and figure out what you could fit in on the available hours. Yes, JJ Shopper, perfect point. Whatnot's a 24-hour platform. And there's a lot of people who have made super, I don't want to say successful because everybody's definition of success is different, but have businesses and seem to be growing and thriving in the late night hours, in the middle of the night hours.
You will get there, Robin. You will get there. No worries. It's one step at a time.
Yep, absolutely. All right, we're going to run something else really quick here since we are supposed to be chatting and selling. We've got a little mini creamer. You guys, I did a creamer show the other day. I sold like 90, 80 something creamers. I still have some left over that I just didn't even put in the show because there were so many. So we've got this little guy. He is adorable. It is a ceramic, a nice big chunky one. I can't read on the bottom. Let's see. I have no idea. It is marked on the bottom, but I love this little creamer. There's no handle. It's so cute. It almost looks like a shot glass, but it has a little spout. It's actually a creamer. And that's going to run right now for $1. That is up and going. Southern Charm is already in there. It's thunky. That's right. We came up with a new word, you guys. It is called thunky. It's going to be the new Whatnot key term. Anything that is thick and chunky is now thunky, like this creamer is. The Bird Theory, congratulations. That's going to you. Thank you so much. Yes, my husband just put in there, tax questions are welcome. Always happy to ask. I'll ask. That's it. We should do a show where I just ask tax questions and you guys answer them for me. So it is that time of year with taxes. Are you guys ready? So, yes, my love, I see. Oh my God, he's going to drive me insane, you guys. I love my husband to death, but my love, just, you have a microphone, please talk to me. He's going to drive me freaking insane. You should do a tax game show. Oh, that would be fun. I should do I should do like a whole Jeopardy thing. Yeah. I got to see how we can make that work. Honey, get on that. Can you? Figure out Jeopardy and whatnot for me. So, we do have another raid trade coming up pretty soon. If you're on it, go ahead and tag yourself. So we have one coming up in February. We need well, speaking of a coffee raid train, this isn't quite coffee, but I have put together a raid trade called What's in Your Mug. So we have mugs. The idea is all of the sellers have 20 minutes, and during their 20 minutes, they have to have 3 mugs that they're selling with a surprise inside the mug. It could be anything. It could be a plant. It could be a food item. It could be candy. It could be miniatures. It could be something tall that sticks out of the mug. It just has to fit in the mug. So that's what they're selling. Among their other stuff, they have 20 minutes. So they could sell their regular things, but during their 20 minutes, they have to sell 3 mugs with something inside. So that's coming up. I've already have mine bookmarked. I know Southern Charm's on there. We have a few other people that are on there. Kimmy D is going to be on that raid train. So check that out. If you guys can, you could just search the thing, What's in Your Mug, raid train. That is in February. I'm pretty excited because I think it's a different concept people haven't done yet. And it'll just be fun to see what creative ideas do people come up with. So we have the Aaron Sphere says, I am really worried about taxes. Would you say a program like Quicken could help me keep track of how much I should hold out of each payment from whatnot? They probably, I'm going to guess because I haven't seen it on the tax software I use, but I am sure that the tax software could take whatever you made in the last year and give you an estimate on what you should hold out. So 100%, they probably do have some type of tools built into the tax software that would help you with that. I also have a PDF, Aaron, on Fridays I sell that breaks all of that down and tells you how to figure that out yourself. There's the What's in the Mug. No, Robin, I actually have 1 spot left. I have 1 spot. So if you're interested, if anybody here is interested in the What's in Your Mug train, it is on 228. I do have 1 spot. You can message me. No. I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to go and pull up my list, but it is only morning hours. It is a Saturday morning, and I think I'm running it from 8 to noon. So it would be a Saturday morning slot. So
Eastern time.
I want to go back. Yes, the bird theory. You are. I want to go back really quick to Aaron's question on estimated taxes. So if you're selling on whatnot, selling on any platform, doing anything, any work that you're getting paid for, if you are self-employed, you should be paying in some type of estimated taxes if you qualify for it. I'm going to say qualify if you meet certain income levels. Basically, when you work, and I'm going to kind of break it down really, really pretty basic here. If you work for somebody else, they take those taxes out of your paycheck. They know what your estimated salary is going to be for the year. They take that out and they pay it into the government piece by piece by piece, every paycheck, right? Well, if you're not working for somebody else, the IRS says, hey, I still want my cut on a regular basis. They want their money up front. That's how the IRS works. So you're responsible to pay that in. Now, if you do a full-time job and whatnot, make it easy. Just up what you're paying in from your full-time job. You take the whole estimated tax issue away. You don't have to worry about it. You're going to pay in a little bit more on your full-time job. If you don't have a job that's paying in to IRS, putting in that withholding tax, then you need to look at what your taxes were last year, what you owed last year, what you expect to owe this year, divide it by 4 and pay it in quarterly. It's as simple as that. I know it sounds like really high level, but it is really that easy. You also can go to irs.gov, type in estimated taxes, and they will break it down for you. What if you don't pay in? If you don't pay in and you owe a significant amount that the IRS says you should have been paying me throughout the year, you will be penalized for it. It's not like really, really bad, but you will get penalized for it. You're not going to go to jail over it. Do you get in trouble? Oops, hold on. I just lost my chat. Just a second. Got to find it. Where'd it go? If you get in trouble, if you pay it all in the fourth quarter, you won't get in trouble. It'll be paid in. But if you should have paid it in throughout the year, you will be penalized for those late fees for not paying it in when you should have. Never thought about upping my full-time job intake to cover. I started upping into my retirement to adjust. Always learn something. Oh, well, thank you, Kimmy. I'm glad you learned something. Yeah, that's the easiest way. If you are working full-time, and that's what I do. I just up my withholding. You So here's what the IRS says. If you're going to owe at least $1,000 more, and this is, tax liability. This is that line towards the bottom of your tax return that says what your tax liability was. If that's going to be $1,000 greater than it was in the prior year, $1,000 or more, you need to make sure you're paying it in. So this is why I say you can't just wait until the end of the year and get your taxes done. Your accounting, doing your bookkeeping is vital so that you know where you are throughout the year. But you don't have to make a big amount of money on Whatnot to pay taxes. No, anything over $400, you have to report. Now, let's think about this logically. If you made $400 on Whatnot, you probably can come up with enough expenses to have a net loss and not owe taxes on that. What if you didn't even earn it until the fourth quarter? Then you're fine. It doesn't matter. You won't be penalized because it goes by when you earn the money. I love that Kimmy D does accounting every week. That makes my heart happy. That makes my CPA heart just happy. It's not, I know, like, because this is my life, I say, this, taxes are easy. It's not that hard. But really, it's not. If you're doing what you're supposed to, if you're tracking your income and your expenses, and if you're like, look, I just don't like taxes, then get a bookkeeper or a CPA and just make sure you do your job of tracking what comes in and what goes out and work with them, and you'll be on top of it. We're on the app. Okay, where on the app do we find our I-9? I have not been sent one, so where do I find that? When you signed up, you actually don't even fill out an I-9 for Whatnot. So I-9s aren't needed for Whatnot. When you signed up, you would have filled out everything they need for tax purposes when you signed up to be a seller. How much per $100 profit should we put towards taxes? So Glamour, that really depends on if you're working full time, if you have other ways of putting money into the IRS. Anywhere from 18 to 30% is my suggestion, depending on the rest of the factors. If you have no other income and it's just Whatnot, I would suggest closer to 30%. If you have other income and you're paying in, I would suggest closer to 18%. But you've got to kind of look at the big picture. There isn't like one hard and fast rule. Each person has a unique set of facts and circumstances. I do on Fridays, if you guys come back to the Friday show, I only put these out on Fridays. I think they're in the marketplace. I think you can find them if you search in the marketplace. But on Fridays, I have them in my bin. I do have a PDF on estimated taxes that like breaks it down in detail, gives you suggested percentages and how to figure out those percentages based on various scenarios. But isn't every state taxes different? Yes, Robin, they are. What I'm talking about are federal taxes. So there are 4 states or 6 states. There's a few states that don't charge state taxes, and then all the rest of them do. So the majority of states charge tax. There is no way for me or any other CPA to know every single state tax. So I don't really talk about state taxes. However, whatever you do for federal, pretty much you can mirror for state. If you're doing it for federal, your state follows pretty much the same rules, and then each state has their own little nuances. So if you're putting money away for federal taxes, you should also then be putting money away for state taxes and even locality taxes. Where I live, we pay federal, state, and then we have a locality tax. And you would have to go and see what that rate is. Whatnot sent, yes, Whatnot has already distributed the 1099s. If you qualified for a 1099 about 10 days ago, you would have got an email from Whatnot that you go through Stripe. So you follow the link in the email to Stripe, and your 1099 can be downloaded or printed from there. Thank you for plugging my Friday show. So my Friday show is all about business and tax. So I do an hour of business and then an hour of tax every Friday morning. I'm still here. I'm happy to answer any tax questions, but I do like specific topics where this year I have a 52-week series that you could watch it as a standalone, and it's a great show. You'll get information as a standalone, but they also are building on each other throughout the year. So if you watch every Friday, it kind of starts very basic and we get deeper and deeper and deeper into business and tax topics as we go through the year. And those are also available on YouTube. So you could kind of catch up or rewatch those on YouTube. Let's sell something else. We got another pre-bid here. I love this plate. This one's so pretty. Check this out. If you like owls. Now this one's probably not vintage. This is from Natalie, I don't know, Natalie something. But look at that owl. Isn't this the prettiest plate? It's not quite dinner size. I would say it's probably about 7.5, 8 inches. We're going to run it. Let's see, we're actually going to show it from the top. Look at that. We're going to get fancy. That is up and running right now. I just love the coloring of it. I think it's just so pretty. Isn't it gorgeous? Thank you so much. Shalom, that is going to you. Congratulations. So if you didn't get the email from Whatnot, you may not have met the threshold to receive a 1099. Whatnot only has to send a 1099 to you if you made $20,000 or more in sales and had 200 or more transactions. You had to meet both of that criteria for Whatnot to have to be required to send the 1099. But you guys, people, we get so caught up on these 1099s. All it is a way for Whatnot to report to the IRS for anybody who met the threshold. You still have to know your own records and report regardless. So a 1099 is just kind of like, yeah, it's just a thing I'm going to check off my list. How do we do our own taxes without it since I did not meet the criteria? So Out and About Vintage, you should still have your records so you know what your revenue was, you know what your expenses are, and that you're going to do your taxes the exact same way. Because honestly, when you get a 1099, all that is doing is Whatnot is telling the IRS, hey, Bob made this amount of money on my platform. Everything that goes on your tax form, on your Schedule C, is from your records. Like you're going to take and say, I made this much revenue, and you're going to look at Whatnot's 1099. You're going to be like, yep, those numbers match, or they're close enough where the difference is immaterial. That's all you're doing. You're just using that 1099 as a reference point. You have to, tell in your tax return that, yeah, I got it from Whatnot, but it's just a thing to match up. You're still reporting your information. That's up to you to keep track of. So it's not Whatnot. Whatnot does a 1099. That's for their records. Your records tell your story, and that's what you're putting on your taxes. So. A lot of people think if you don't get a 1099, you don't even have to report the income. That is not true. Is there any amount in which you would not have to report? Say if you made less than X, $400. If you made less than $400, you can just say it was trivial. Clearly trivial, as we say in the accounting world or in the audit field, and you don't have to report it. The IRS says, it's okay, I'll let you keep your $400. Anything over that, the IRS is like, gimme, gimme, gimme. However, like I mentioned earlier, so if I made 10K in 2026, I won't get a 1099. Correct, unless they change the amount. So right now it's 20,000. That changed right in the middle of when we started 2025. That number was 6,000 or 5,000. They changed it. It is 5,000. They changed it in the middle of the year, the threshold. It could change at any time. It could change by whatever politician wants to attach something to a bill to get it passed through. It's not set in stone. I mean, it's set in stone for right now, but it's always up for changes. But again, it's just a form. It doesn't really matter. You still have to do what you have to do. And this takes me back to my big point of all year long, you should do time blocking. We'll go back to time blocking. You should have some type of system and some type of time set aside every single week or month where you're catching up on your accounting. You're doing what you should be doing. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It really doesn't. Track every money that comes in and every money that goes out. That's like the bottom line to it. Is not as like hard. You could write it down on a pay, get a notebook and just write it down. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to cost you a lot. Used to be $600 in general. Why so much for Whatnot? So it used to be $600 and then it went up and then it went down. It's an arbitrary number. So it used to be $600 because the IRS was like, anybody makes over $600, we need to know about it. We're going to audit everybody. Well, then different politicians come in and they say, you know what? Think about it from the Whatnot angle. Think about it from eBay and all these other platforms. That's a lot of paperwork. That's a lot of reporting. That's a lot of administrative cost to gather all this information on every single seller who made $600, right? So the big corporations and big companies, and it's not just the platforms, you're talking about independent contractors, like small business owners, they all have to meet this same requirement, right? On whether they send these 1099s. It's not just platforms, it's any business, right? That's a lot of administrative work. So they, push back on the politicians the way they should. And so the politicians say, okay, I hear you. The IRS says, hey, I hear you too. It's a lot of administrative work. We're going to up that threshold. So they up the threshold. It has nothing to do with you as a seller. It has to do with lessening the administrative burden on the IRS and the people having to report to put these 1099s out. That's all it is. What's stopping people making close to but less than 20K? Because you have to report it regardless. It doesn't matter if you make 19K or 21K, you still have to report that on your taxes. So it's an arbitrary number. We get too caught up on that form and that number. It's arbitrary. You have to report. It's ethics. You know what? There is nothing stopping somebody from making $18,000 and not reporting their income. There isn't. There is nothing but your own ethical and moral obligation to do what is right at the end of the day. And eventually, if the IRS ever audits you, you could be caught. Kiss my glass. Hello, we've been doing good. Glad to see you back. And we can get into the whole debate on about taxes and are they ethical to begin with. But it really comes down to, it doesn't matter. This is the society we live in. These are the laws we have. So let's do the best to figure out how to make it work, right? That's kind of, the whole concept of, do you agree or disagree with them? It doesn't mean, to me, it doesn't mean anything. It is what it is. Now, of course, I say that as a CPA, and I actually enjoy taxes. I got my master's degree with a concentration in tax. So I'm actually geeky and enjoy it. You know why I enjoy it? Here it is. It comes down to, we talked earlier about list. I love a form. I love a good form and check boxes. And I love knowing that I put this number here. It's comforting. Can't they take 5,000 startup for Whatnot Business? There is rules on startup cost, yes. So it's usually before you actually start the business, how much money you put into buying specific equipment and stuff. So there are special deductions for startup cost, but it's regulated. It's very much like, okay, these are the type of things that qualify. But yes, you can kiss my glass. There are specific things when you start a business that you're allowed to deduct. Taxes and death, inevitable. That's right. Absolutely. I know I bought so much year before. Yeah, there's legitimate things you could take before you actually start your business as your startup cost. So if you're buying equipment, setting up a studio, if you're renting space, maybe having to redo space, if you rent commercial space, and I know a lot of us work out of our homes, but there are people here who rent commercial space. When you rent commercial space, it's almost like owning. There's leasehold improvements, like a lot of the stuff you do inside. It's not like you have a landlord who does that for you. On commercial space, usually you're responsible for it. I claim everything, including the square footage that I use in my home. Exactly, Glamour Fox. You can use home office deduction is a huge thing. That's one of those things that people often overlook. I say this in my tax shows all the time. So think about it like this. As of January 1st, so 25 days ago, we were both at zero. You have your book income. This is your profit. This is what goes into your bank. This is the money, your cash flow, your profit, the actual stuff you see and use, right? Then you have your tax income. Throughout the year, our goal is to raise our book income and lower our tax income. We want a lot of money in our bank and we want to pay a little bit of taxes. That's kind of the goal. And there's legitimate ways to make that happen. Home office expense is one of those things. We're not really putting out, like writing a check each month, pay to the order of home office expense. Here's $300 going out of my bank account. We don't really see that. But on our tax return, it's a big chunk that's deducted that helps lower that taxable income. And there's other things that are like that. Renting a storage unit's a deduction. Absolutely. If that storage unit, it goes back to, there's two words that can guide all of your business expenses: ordinary and necessary. Keep those two words in mind and you'll be safe. Any expense that is ordinary and necessary in your line of business can be a business deduction. I get a little antsy. I hear people who aren't tax or accounting professionals giving to advice on various chat shows that say there's specific deductions just for resellers. Go find a CPA and get your reseller deductions. I have heard this and it just irritates me because it's not true. It's ordinary and necessary expenses. So what does that mean? That means for you as a reseller, what's ordinary and necessary to you may look different than a manufacturing company, right? You're not going to buy a bulldozer for your whatnot business. More than likely. That's probably not an ordinary and necessary expense. But for a manufacturing company, that probably is ordinary and necessary. So it's not that there's special deductions. It's what fits in your business. So sometimes it feels that we need a bulldozer. Absolutely. We're going to run one more item real quick here to break this up a little bit. We have some egg cups. I heard egg cups were popular. I have never used an egg cup in my life, to tell you the truth. We have two here. They're thunky. They're thick and chunky. 2 white egg cups. We're going to run them. They are up and going for $1. We do have a pre-bid on them. They're in good shape. No chips or cracks. You can use them. I do not know exactly how you use an egg cup. Do you just put your egg and eat it? I have no idea. But Southern Charm, you now have 2 egg cups. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I always wonder what people, you know what? Hold on. I'm going to do that question. I keep forgetting to do my giveaways. All right, giveaways going. I always wonder what people use egg cups for. Me too. Soft boiled eggs. I have never had a soft boiled egg in my life. My husband's going to say something.
My grandpa used to eat them. They were really, really good. He used to put lime and salt on them.
Kelly, I love your question. So Kelly says, do you ever pretend to talk to someone when looking at the camera? I kind of do. I'm talking to all of you guys. Like, I kind of picture an audience. So I do teach in my real life. I'm an auditor in real life. That's what I do for a living. But I don't actually audit clients anymore. I used to do that. I have moved into the point where I write training materials for all of our auditors across the country, and I travel and get to deliver those, and I run conferences for our auditors. So when I'm here, I kind of picture the same thing. I just picture a room full of people that I'm talking to. I don't like that I don't get to see facial expressions because I really feed off of that to read body language. So I do miss that. But yeah, I picture that I have an audience just like if I'm teaching. We got about 2 feet of snow. So yes, an auditor. I know nobody likes auditors. They think we're mean, but we're really not.
Plus, she has a big screen in front of her where she can see herself, so she can basically talk to herself.
Yes, I have a large TV that I'm actually looking. So my camera's here, my big TV's right behind me, and that's what I'm staring at. So it's like I'm just talking to myself in the mirror too. But yeah, and then when I teach, thank you. You know what, auditors are. Let me tell you a secret. If any of you are in the business field and you have auditors coming in, I know it's this thing. It's like, tight-lipped, don't say nothing to the auditors, be careful what you say. Like, really, we hate finding stuff. Like when I was in client facing and I would go and audit people, and I've audited some really cool people, like some really cool stuff. We don't want to find stuff. We don't want to find that you messed up your business, because then we have to tell you, we can't write you a clean report. Like, we don't want to do that. It's kind of like put it in whatnot world. As a seller, I don't want you to get something that's broken. As an auditor, I don't want to have to find something that's broken in your business. It's not fun either way for us. No, I do not have any sports cards. So Kelly was an auditor for an insurance company for 30 years. Yes. We do what's fair. We go in and we just make sure that your financial statements are accurately presented. That's all we do. So. And it's actually not as boring as people think it is. It's actually kind of a fun job. If you guys have any kids, teenagers, young college people thinking about going into the field, I'm always happy to talk to them if they want to give me a call. I do work for a global company, so I could give you some insight if you ever have children kind of heading in that route. it's a good career to get into. It's a very, I don't want to say, I guess it could be. It's a good paying. You could support a family on it. So, my husband's like, tell him some stories. So, I can't disclose client names, but some of the coolest places I've ever audited. I used to audit an alligator farm. That was really cool. So basically, it's like a zoo with just nothing but alligators in it. And so at lunchtime, we would take a break at lunch and we would go out and just watch the alligators getting fed. We would see the behind the scenes. And what's kind of cool is zoos. If you guys didn't know this, most of the animals in the zoos across the world are related to each other. There is a master database called ISIS. No connection to the bad connotation, but there's a database called ISIS that is a worldwide database of zoos that tracks the genealogy of every single animal. So when a zoo in Boston has an elephant and they need to mate it, they go into this database and they look at a zoo in Australia and be like, okay, these two aren't related. Can we bring this elephant from Australia to Boston? And that's how they kind of move these animals all around the world and make sure that there's no crossbreeding. It's a really cool thing. So some of the stuff you get to learn about is pretty cool. Kelly says she loved her job and the people. Greenhorns we to share stories. Yeah. The biggest mistake I've ever encountered, yes. I found, I used to audit a tugboat company, and they tried to hide a submarine on their business records. So they actually owned, the family who owned the tugboat company also owned a bunch of land. And this was in a part of the country where lakes and water was very, there was a lot of lakes and water. So let's see who won this really quick. Natural State of High, you're getting that giveaway. Congratulations. And yeah, a whole ass submarine. So we found the submarine on their books. It didn't match their assets and their business. We were like, what is this? What's this expense? And you start digging and digging, and you're like, can I see receipts? Can I see invoices? Blah, blah, blah. Finds out they bought this submarine to go in a lake on their personal property just for entertainment and purposes of their own use, but they put it through the business. So that was that was like a huge expense. So that was kind of like something we found that was kind of cool. We've seen different things. I have more stories about stupid shit that's happened to me. I flooded a client's office one time, like flooded with water, their whole office. And the client came in and found me on my hands and knees in my business suit. Like, I didn't wear sweats. I wore like business clothes. On my hands and knees trying to mop up water. Like, I was sopping wet. Basically, they had done repairs on a sink that I wasn't aware of. And I turned the sink on and I'm washing my hands and I'm doing my thing. And water is just pouring out the bottom of the cupboard. That was fun. Yeah, I am so I have so many stories of like the stupid stuff that has happened to me. It's like getting caught clogging the toilet. Yeah. So I guess buying a cruise ship is a bad idea don't buy the cruise ship. Somebody will find out eventually. Another time I used to audit a prison, which was kind of cool, but we got locked in. Me and my boss got locked in the prison, not in a cell, but it was I say prison. It was kind of like a country, out of the way country prison. And all of the sheriffs once a year, we get together, this is right before Christmas, and drive into town to do Christmas shopping for their wives. It was kind of like this boys' night out thing of the sheriffs there. And we were auditing. We were there late at night. A lot of times as auditors, you work long hours. And I know it was like 8 o'clock at night or so. And we were packing up to leave, and we were in the main office. And we're like, okay, let's go run to the bathroom before we go. Us not thinking, me and my boss walk out of the little office down the hall to the bathroom. Now, mind you, there's the prison, and we're in like the administrative office section. We go to the bathroom, we come back out, we can't get back in the office. Stupid us didn't think that in prisons, all the doors automatically lock behind you. So there's our cell phones, our purses, everything behind 2 big glass doors. We could see it. We couldn't get to it. So we sat in the administrative office, like in the hallway there, for about an hour and a half till somebody came by and found us. Just locked ourselves in prison for a couple of hours. So, a lot of stories like that, a lot of just stupid stuff that's happened. Somebody's going to clip that, and all they're going to hear is that, I'm going to have a clip of me on the internet somewhere saying I locked myself in prison. That's it. It's not going to look good. All right, we've got another giveaway going. Let's run something else here. It's getting slow. Until I have another question or somebody says another topic to talk about, let's run this sugar bowl. This guy's pretty. And I have a story about this. So look at this. Look at how beautiful this is. This is a little sugar bowl, and it has a little glass birdie, and he is fine. Yeah, go ahead and promote. That's fine. I have no problem with that. All right, so we're going to put it down here so we could see this. He is so pretty. So when back in the beginning of my reselling days, I had found a sugar bowl just like this. We're going to switch cameras so you can see it. I had found one just like this. And this was not this one, but the one I found years ago. The first thing I ever broke as a reseller. I had dropped it and completely shattered the lid. But anyways, this one is not shattered. It is in perfect condition. It is really pretty. It has a little cutout for your spoon. No chips or cracks that I'm aware of. And it's going to run right now. And that's up and going. Thank you for your bids. I love the little birdie on there. The bird theory, congratulations. We'll run something else in a minute. I do
Thank
see there's a
you.
few other pre-bids. We're going to get to them soon. All right. We have a question. I'm doing Western. Oh, this is okay. I'm doing Western clothes. Okay, y'all. If you guys like Western clothes, there you go. Let's see. What's shot random? Okay. Sorry, the convo turned to this, but don't be sorry. It's totally cool. I'm enjoying this. Wildest, silliest thing someone has ever done to avoid you. Oh, wow. Let's see. Wildest, silliest thing. I'm trying to think. Most people don't avoid. What happens is, now I got a story from the boss, but okay. Most people don't avoid us. They're just either like, they try to, especially experienced older men. Nothing against, if we have any experienced older men in the chat, nothing against you guys, but I have found that like the CEOs and the CFOs, the older men try to talk and talk and talk in circles to confuse you and never answer your questions. That's probably like the biggest thing that we would encounter. So one of the things we're trained, and you don't think about this, but one of the things we actually train our auditors is how to have conversations, how to ask questions, and how to actually listen for the answers. So while there's a lot of accounting and debits and credits, there's a lot of soft skills that go into what we do. So that's probably the biggest one is clients talking in circles, trying to confuse you. People also will talk in circles because they don't know what they're talking about. We find that a lot. But my boss, I had a boss, not where I work now, but a long time ago. Yeah, you see right through it. You're an audit previously mentioned. Yeah, anyways, I had a boss a long, long time ago, would tell me when we used to audit this bank, he would say, go sit in the women's bathroom, like go in the stall and just sit there and wait for the women to come in and you'll hear them talking in the bathroom. And I'm like, and I was new, I was a baby auditor and I didn't really know, I was still learning the ropes, right? And I'm like, is this what we do? Is this how we get our information? Like I legit thought I was supposed to sit in the bathroom stalls and just wait for the women to come in and start gossiping to hear what I could hear. That is not what we do. Trust me. He was just, he was a little odd. So that was that. It's a fun job. I love my job. I love what I do now. I love writing. Let me rephrase that. I love teaching or facilitating. I'm not big on actually writing the content. I do it it's like shipping. You know, there's always something part of what you're doing that's not your favorite part of the job. So writing the content's not my favorite part. My favorite part is delivering it, is going out there and seeing like the light bulb moment when somebody like realizes something. That's my favorite part of it. So I actually get to, the main part of my job is writing. I'm responsible for the full curriculum for all of our new managers. So as people get promoted to manager, it's my job to make sure that for the first year, they're taught everything they need to know. So that's what I do. All right, let's run something else here. We have another creamer that was left over from our creamer show. Actually, it wasn't left over. It never made it to the creamer show. This is a cute little one. This is a ceramic guy. Little blue flowers on there. No maker. The other side is plain. Let me turn around. So you have a plain side. And Thomas, you got that giveaway. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And it's probably about 3.5 inches tall. It's not too big. And it's up and running right now. when you're doing, you work, let's see, Bird Series says, same exactly what I'm doing with my work now, creating and facilitating. Yes, I love the facilitation of training. I'm Monster Mama. Thank you so much. That is heading to you.
Thank you.
Which is really odd that that's my favorite part, is actually facilitating and like getting here talking to you guys, because there was a time in my life that, and I've told this story before, so if you've heard it, I apologize if you've heard the story, but I must tell it again. When I started college late. I didn't go to college till I was 30 years old. I did everything backwards in life. I had babies and then I got married and then I went to school. So I kind of just flipped life around and did it my way. So I was 30 years old before I went to college. So here I am, 30-year-old mother of three. My youngest was like 5 months old when I started, and I went to college. I had a bunch of 22-year-olds sitting around me. And the very, very first college class I went into, I was sitting way back in the corner because, of course, where else would I be? I want to be somewhere where I can hide, right? And the professor wanted everybody, it was a small class, maybe 30 people, wanted you to stand up and say your name and, I don't know, say something about like what you want to learn about or something. I don't know. It was stupid. I was so like shaking. I was like, I can't say my name. If I would have been by the door, I would have snuck out the door and never gone back. I was so scared. I got up, my voice was shaking. I'm like, my name's Tracy. I sat back down. Like, I could not talk in front of a crowd. And so if any of you are like that, practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect. Practice helps because I'm nowhere near perfect. But there was a point that there was no way I was going to talk in front of anybody. And now I'll get up in front of crowds of, a few hundred people and talk at these conferences. So, and not that like I'm saying it to brag on myself. I'm just saying that if you feel that way, if you're like, oh my gosh, I can't be in front of the camera, I can't talk in front of people, it gets easier. I'm not gonna say you become perfect. It gets easier the more you do it. All right. Noelle, what programs do you use to make the thumbnails? There you go. Question for you, my love.
Miss Southern Charm. Do you want me to reveal all my secrets, huh? I see. My thumbnails are done through mostly Photoshop, or I also use Adobe Illustrator, depending. But if you have any questions, you know where to reach me. And for those of you who do not know, let me get this right. I am the wizard behind the curtain. Good morning.
There's my wonderful husband. I know I give him a hard time, but he's really a good guy, y'all. He does all my stuff for me. I got to get him to do more of my social media, but he does all my stuff for me. We're going to run this one. I see a pre-bid on this. So we have a milk glass vase. This is your basic milk glass vase. I don't know how tall it is. We'll tell you how tall it is. 6 inches tall. And no chips or cracks. That's up and running right now. Well, maybe it is. Now it is. Got to click the button. I should not say that until I actually click the button.
Yes, Miss Kelly. Off to see the wizard.
Thank you so much for your bids. The bird theory, that is going to you. We're going to probably we'll do 2 more giveaways and then we're going to go for the day because it is Monday. I do have to work today. Do you guys have any other questions or any other topics that we want to touch on today? I'm going to take a sip of my coffee and let that sit for a second. I am trying to figure out what best way to get my chat from an Android to a large screen so I can read it easier. So maybe that's a question for you, my love, because I'm not super techie. Can you mirror an Android to like a TV like we can an iPhone?
Yes, there's some TVs that are compatible with Androids. I think I want to say Samsung's most of the time, where you can basically mirror your phone content into the TV. But it depends on the model of the phone, depends on the TV. So yeah, there is a way.
That is what I find is the easiest way, not being techie, is just to use that mirror function. let's go ahead and run one more thing here. Let's see, we have this timer, and I thought this was cool. This is a 3-minute timer. So you know what this would be great for? If you have little ones that you want to put in timeout, there you go. 3-minute timer, or you just need to cook something for 3 minutes. Maybe that goes with the egg cups. I don't know. It does say 3-minute timer there, and it's from somewhere. And it has a really cute pine cone. I think this was a pine cone that it was actually cut from. Put it right there. All right, we're going to go ahead and run that. That's going right now. Thought it was iPhone only, so maybe it's a TV I need to look at. Oh, okay.
Yes, the iPhone does it too, to certain TVs as well, but not to all. But the Androids, depending on the brand of the phone, it might be able to do it. I know that Samsungs are compatible with the TVs, and they mirror to the TVs.
The woven basket, congratulations. It just reminded me, watching
Thank
this on
you.
the screen, how cool would it be if we had these for Whatnot? We just had like a 30-second timer. You would just flip over instead of like having a countdown. We can go old school. Let's see, a question from Natural State of High. Do you ever forget to document something or have an aha moment where you realize something was a write-off that you overlooked? Absolutely. All the time. Every single year. Yes, every single year. So I'll keep my accounting records. Like I preach, I keep my own accounting records. But also at the end of the year, I go back through any credit cards or bank accounts that I may have used. While I try to only use my business account, I'm not perfect. Sometimes I leave the debit card for my business account at home and I've got to buy it on my personal account if I'm out shopping. So there is always something at the end of the year that I find that I missed throughout the year.
And then she gets a phone call from me saying, "What?
He
You
does it.
spent what?"
He's like, I'll do that sometimes. I'll forget like my business card at home and then I'll use my savings account card. And he's like, what is this? Some $100 charge. Oh. He used to work at a soup factory, but you got canned. That's funny. They gave me the boot. We got some dad jokes going on today. All right, we're gonna run. I got two more things to run today, you guys. Let's do this while these giveaways are running out. Look at this. This is actually really pretty. Now, if I gave this to my husband to sell, he would have a whole different story, but I'm gonna tell you how beautiful it is. Let's put it over here so you can see it. Here's a little bud vase. And I like the little blue and white on there. The other side is just blue. The bud vase. Let's see the bottom of it. I have no clue who makes it. It's adorable. It's about 4¼ inches tall. We're going to run it for $1. And that's going now. So we have 45 seconds left in that giveaway. Thank you, Southern Charm. That is heading to you. Thank you so much. Let's do this very last one
you.
here. Do you guys like tins? I know tins are kind of like a primitive thing. This is an old tea tin. This one's pretty new. If I don't drop it, I don't accidentally. Teo tea balls. You could have some tea balls. Here you go. I do like the black and gold. It's a pretty cool tin. It's going to run now. That's up and going. Thank you so much for your bid. It almost looks like a tobacco, but it's not tobacco. It's tea. The Bird Theory, thank you. That is heading to you. And who is getting that
Thank
giveaway?
you.
It is running right now. The Lost Ledger. You are getting that giveaway. Thank you for being here. All right, you guys. Well, I Love Discounts rating with a party of 13. Is your show over already? I Love Discounts. I was going to rate into you.
Welcome in, Raiders! Grab your hats and step into Zoe's Treasures, where the relics aren't cursed. They are for sale.
All right, you guys. If you don't know who I Love Discounts is, where in the world have you been? Y'all, this is I Love Discounts. We're going to bring up their profile. That's what it's called. Because that's what we do here. When somebody raids us, we always bring up their profile to say thank you. I Love Discounts. There you go. They sell vitamins, supplements, skincare, makeup, food, jewelry. Mostly jewelry, y'all. They're kind of moving over into doing jewelry. So go support them. They have some really cool stuff. Their next show is today at noon. For the next few days, they're doing noon where they do some really cool glass. But there you go. Jewelry is also today at 7 o'clock. And of course, I'm a little biased because I Love Discount is my partner in crime on the podcast. So it is myself, I Love Discounts, and Green 13 every Sunday night at 6:30 p.m. We do a podcast on YouTube. So if you have not seen that or heard one of us talking about it, again, where have you been? Because we talk about it all the time. And there it is. You can always rewatch it. We had our first episode last night. It was really good. So with that, we're going to go find somebody to raid. Oh, let me do this question first. Hold on. I'm going to start this giveaway and then answer the question. So that way we can get through all the giveaways. There we go. All right. We have 5 minutes, y'all. Is only LLC situation that you would be able to write off, pay Noel for his services, or is that an expense you're able to account for? You can account for that as a sole proprietor too. So you could do payroll as a sole proprietor. There's also specific for spouses. There's specific rules for medical expenses where you can pay for their medical expenses through the business as a sole proprietor. But then if you just want to pay for services, if I want to put him on payroll and actually write a paycheck to him and to myself, I can do that too. Now, if you do that as a sole proprietor and actually pay payroll, then you do have to submit payroll taxes. You're starting to get into more regulations where on a quarterly basis, you're having to report payroll taxes, which, it's a give or take. So you just look at, is it a benefit to you in the big picture? In a previous show, you mentioned what should be in your profile info. I forget what you said. Mine is about my regular life. Go ahead.
Not just title high. Really? I could get paid? Nobody told me that.
Being married to me is all the payment you would ever. I can't even imagine that you would want something else than that.
I think I'm gonna submit my resign.
Excuse me? No, not resigning. I'm only allowed to fire you. So, a Monster Mama, I suggest, now everybody is different. This is purely my suggestion, that profiles, that if you want to put the personal stuff in there, because this is a social selling platform, right? So we want some of that connection. The personal stuff should be at the bottom. I think what's most important are the key details. Who you are, like your name, introduce yourself. I'm Tracy with Zoe's Treasures. And what you sell and when you're on. I think those are the key 3 things that people want to know when they go to your profile: who you are, what you sell, and when they can find you. They know where they're on, whatnot. Those 3 things. Once you do those 3 things, then you can put the other stuff. Because then that way, if they're interested, they want to keep reading, they can read it. But people don't want to read through a bunch of personal detail to get to the 3 pieces of information that they're really there to find out. So give them what they want up front, then put the details at the bottom. I also suggest bullet points or quick and easy type very short sentences. Think about it like an email. And when you get an email, most of the time we just read that, whatever the subject line is. We don't necessarily read the whole emails. So kind of think about it in that terms. People have very short attention spans. They want fast and easy information. So we should try to give it to them in the way that they want it. All right, we have about 2 minutes left on that giveaway, and we're going to go find somebody to raid. All right, you know what I'm going to do? Y'all get in that giveaway if you want. We're going to pull it because CG is still on. I don't know how much longer she's going to be on, so we're going to try to raid into her really quick. So I'm going to pull this giveaway right now. If you're not in it, hurry up and click. All right, we're drawing the winner. Thank you for being here. And JSC Toy, I could not read all of it fast enough. Congratulations. Toy Crypt, congratulations. Thank you for being here. All right, y'all. Have a great week. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. And let's go see if we can raid into CG. All right, why is it not working? She is not on. We're going to raid into We Auction Florida.